Gonna have just a nice, easy day. Not much wrong. We got so much to talk about. We got earnings to talk about. We got China playing nice to talk about. We got Kenny Glick at 8:15 for his take on the markets. We have a jobs number at 8:30. And you know what? Most important, we're going to talk about at noon today the greatest 2 minutes in sports, the Kentucky Derby. It's Friday, and I'm fired up. I hope you are too. Brent, roll that intro for pre-market prep.
The volatility right now is really incredible.
Wow, look at that consolidation on the upper right chart.
You know what we've seen this earnings season? Some of these expected moves get even more violent. This is why I have switched my strategy 10 years ago. And if you're chasing, you're in trouble.
Throw out the high, throw out the low. We're up 21 handles, 56.44 and a quarter. The buck down 50 cents, back under par, 99.56. TLT flat ahead of the jobs number, 88.74. USO trying to recover here, up 40 cents, 64.92. GLD bouncing after a bad couple days, up 227, 299.73. Silver, that's up 32 cents at 29.71, and Bitcoin trying to get to that magical 6-digit area, up $375 at 97,580. Triple D, we got a lot to cover here, but first of all, congratulations on your Oilers. And I do not want to show my disappointment over the Pistons loss. So that's it. That's it for sports.
That's our sports talk. Short and
Sports
sweet.
talk.
Sports talk is over. Right into the markets here. The big news, obviously, yes, last night was both Apple and Amazon were trading down their earnings, which we will cover in depth in a second. But overnight, the news and the news headline that's really, got us going here is China. So this was the bounce back here. Is China is confirming that they've had talks with the U.S. We got that headline. I'd say had to be about 8:30, not last night, maybe
exactly.
9 o'clock. 8:30 last night. And we ripped like 60 handles in like 6 seconds, just blast off central. So again, the difference is we've been getting a little bit numb to those headlines. We've been getting a little bit numb to talks headlines, but this is coming from China. So they said that they are not had talks. So Brent's correcting me. They're open to talks. They are open to talks. So, I mean, we're going to rally 60 handles because they're open to talks. This is just gotten to a ridiculous level of and again, when we get the first deal, we're going to pop here too. But holy mackerel, you're down on earnings. The S&Ps are really kind of hit pretty good last night. Not as bad as you'd think. We were down about 20 handles. But, then we rally 60 just like that. We have come off those highs. But, man, it's getting to just ridiculousness. This market is just now it's so positive. I mean, forget about negative sentiments. Dead and buried here right now. Every time you get, anything, it seems like they want to rally it on it. It's just people who are underinvested and the dips are getting bought. That's the bottom line. China trading up substantially here overnight, which you would think because they're open to talk. So FXI is up. Alibaba is up. I'm still long Alibaba. Baidu is up. I'm still long Baidu. JD is up. I'm still long JD, which has been a disaster. Also, obviously, Pinduoduo, your other big one over there, up substantially as well. So all those stocks lifting because they are open to talks. What do you think? They're going to be closed to talks? I mean, that's where this market is. I think we just lost Joel. That's okay, though. I can just run it solo. I can do it solo.
Oh, here I am. Oh, Joel just said he lost power. Let me just text him back real quick. Generator.
Got the Generac going. Get the Generac.
Long GNRC.
Yeah, long GNRC.
Dennis, that was an excellent little take on the China, or a big take. I don't want to say it's a little take. That was excellent. Are you happy with that coverage? Can we get to take 2 already?
Yeah, I think so. This is your big story that broke here this morning. Brentster, give us the headline.
So take 2 out with a press release at 7:30 a.m. sharp, reaffirming guidance, but most importantly, saying that they are going to delay the release of GTA 6 from fall of this year to May of 2026. Exact date is May 26th, 2026.
So we're delaying the game 6 months. We have seen them delay games before. This has happened. Take-Two is notorious for not hitting the timelines, especially on the Grand Theft Auto product. These dips are usually buying opportunities. It already was a buying opportunity, and again, we've lost Joel's charts. He'll be back here in a second unless his power stays out, and I may have to go get my charts too, which is fine. I can show my charts in a minute, but we'll wait for Joel because I hate doing charts and talking stocks. So just listen. Take-Two went all the way down to $196 this morning. It's already bounced substantially. So this came out at 7:30. I was watching the Take-Two action. 2:05, I started noticing, like, it hit my face, like, what's going on at Take-Two? And then I see the headline, whoa. So it went down really fast. Then 2:05. Then there's a step down iceberg seller. 2:05, 2:02, 200 with 100 shares, but they're lifting it. It isn't moving. I was like, oh, this guy's or girl has some size to go. Stock went all the way down to 196, and I'm like looking at it, and I want to buy it, but I'm like, I don't want to be like lift that iceberg, and then it continues to go down. So I was like waiting for the iceberg to go. Finally, they take the iceberg out at 200. I tried 201, 202, 203, nothing. You can't. So if you were going to buy it, you had to buy it on the iceberg because it was 208 like 3 seconds after the 200 was gone. And now it's 210, 212. I think, so at this point in time, I think it overshot. I'm pretty sure it overshot. I don't know if you're going to get a shot down 200. If it does, I'll put it in my long-term account because this is a great franchise, great company, kind of tariff-proof on my tariff-proof list. So lots of reasons to own this. Down 22 points is a nice dip. It still might be attractive here. I liked it a lot better at 196 this morning, though. 200 sounds good.
Dennis,
to retest. 200 is, I think, a good level.
We were kind of talking about how it's such a algo. It seems to be such an algo move to just hook into this GTA release date as a catalyst. We know that they have delayed it before. As recently as February 2025, the company had like reaffirmed their date for GTA 6 release. They said it's going to be fall as recently as February. So, just kind of interesting that algo hooks into it and, just reacts. Exactly.
Yeah, can't stop themselves. So, I mean, opportunities, do exist in this markets all the time. We are in this relentless buy the dip market. And this is a dip that is notoriously bought, these game delays. EA is going the opposite way because I've seen this trade a million times. Take-Two delays something, they buy EA because they're competitive. So they're like, wow. So you see, look, EA, it's trading up this morning. This, as much as the Take-Two rally is overdone, I think the EA, or sell-off is overdone. I think the EA rally on this is kind of silly as well. Major resistance on EA up here at 150. I mean, it's only up a little bit, but is this really like, oh my gosh, this is so good for EA that Take-Two's that the Grand Theft Auto is going to be delayed 6 months? Kind of seems silly to me. I would not be buying the EA on this. I know it's up 3.27%, but I'd almost be fading it. But I don't know if EA is not a bad stock to own either. Like the valuation's not bad. It's held up. It's on my tariff-proof list as well. So it's not a stock that I'm really looking to actively short, but I do think it's silly that it rallies on it. So Take-Two down 9%. I'm in the buy the dip camp. Come 200 to pop, I'll put it in my long-term account. I don't know if it's going to get there or not, but I will try today.
Triple D,
Moving
let's
on.
go to our
we're going to get Joel.
earnings.
Yeah, Joel's working on getting his power back here. So, yeah, let's go and cover those earnings from last night, Brent Stern. Thanks for jumping right in.
Sure.
Start with the big daddy, Apple. Start with the big one.
Let's do Apple. Apple last night reporting a beat, 165 versus 163, kind of slight beat. Sales 95.36. They did add $100 million to their buyback plan. They also raised their quarterly dividend by a penny on the conference call. Company CEO Tim Cook saying the March ending quarter was minimally affected by tariffs, and they are expecting to set aside $900 million in costs during their next quarter under the current tariff structure.
Which isn't that bad. I mean, so, under the current tariff structure, it doesn't sound like it's going to be that bad for Apple, but they're still hitting the stock. The expected move on Apple was $9.20, where we got down actually near the expected move last night. We've bounced off. S&Ps have rallied substantially, so both Apple and Amazon are off their lows. So your expected move is down like 204. So you're 206. So you're still inside that expected move. Again, we're in this market environment where they're buying the dips relentlessly. I like the Take-Two dip better than the Apple dip, just because Apple valuation has been attractive to me for a long time, and it is in ground zero for tariffs. But don't kid yourself, the news last night, even with China's got to help Apple as well. So it wouldn't surprise me if they come near that expected move 200 to 204 and start buying the dip, which they already kind of have. Let's cover Amazon.
Want to go to Amazon, Dennis?
Yeah, we'll do them both together, and then we'll give you the
Amazon.
repercussions. Yeah.
Okay, I like it. Just pulling up my Amazon results here. Amazon reporting also a beat, 159 versus 136. Sales 155.7 billion. Analysts were looking for 155 even. Company did give some guidance. So the guidance looks okay to me. I did see a couple publications this morning calling the guidance like a little light. They're expecting Q2 sales 159 to 164 billion, and analysts are around 161 billion. So, like kind of in the midpoint, a little heavy on the midpoint, if you ask me. But again, I saw, like Bloomberg, I saw CNBC saying light guidance. What did you think about the report? What did you think about the guidance, Dennis?
Yeah, a little bit light, not a lot, light, a little bit light. And again, Amazon is kind of in ground zero for the tariffs too. So I didn't mind it at all. And even last night we were talking about this thing at 180, and there was a huge buyer down there at 180. There's Mr. Elconin. Buying over, like, I think it was close to 100,000 share bid at 180. It went all the way down there, kissed it, but couldn't take it out, and then it bounced out of there. And then it went down there again. I was trying to buy the 180 on the retest, but it didn't quite get there. I was sitting down there at like 180 and a quarter, and it got down to 180.60, and then it blasted off again. So now Amazon has gotten all the losses back. Dip was bought. I am still long Amazon, my long-term portfolio. I believe it's close to my biggest long-term stock position in my long-term portfolio. So long-term, I've said Amazon is as cheap relative to itself as it's ever been.
Okay, I'm in a bad mood. I'm in a really bad mood now.
Oh gosh, because you lost power. Is your power back?
Just boom, like sitting there. Pat Travis. Boom, boom. Out go the lights. I come back from vacation. I'm not feeling well. The dog has surgery. Messed up the show a few times this week. I'm so psyched for Friday, and I'm sitting here. And boom, boom, Pat Travis, out go the lights. I'm livid right now.
Joel, when it rains, it pours, Joel. We'll get through this.
I thought it was going good. Okay.
Well, it happens in threes, though. It happens in threes. So you weren't feeling good coming back. The dog got sick, and now the lights went out. I think you're clear. I think you're in the clear.
Yeah.
Oh,
look at that optimism.
I don't know how bad the lights.
Dennis.
I don't know if the lights going out counts. It's really not that bad, but maybe it is. Maybe you're in the clear. PJ Shannon agrees. You're done. You're good to go. It's all good luck after this.
Okay.
So just start making trades. Go buy your Take-Two dip and live happily ever after.
Okay. You guys were talking about Amazon. What I wanted to say is about Amazon is we were live right there. You identified the iceberg. Emily in the STN room stepped up. I think she was one of the few people that got it there, and she said she's never going to sell it. So,
she bought it like, I'm never selling this. She bought right below.
She said, we're like, get out, 181, get out, 182, get out. But
you know what? Bought 180, sell 181 and a half, sell 182 and a half, cash money, baby.
Okay, boy, have I messed things
Joel,
up. But yes, sir.
We got the wall.
Joel, I know somebody that can help turn your morning around even more here.
Oh, I know
the
too.
Warlock.
Okay.
The Warlock.
Here he is.
You want to go to him right now?
Hell yeah.
Right now. 8:15. He's ready to
go.
He is dressed for success. He's also.
He looks so good. He's like, it's like his mom's. He looks great. I love the hat.
Thank you. This hat costs more than your car. What's happening, boys?
I have an old car. Do you have a derby pick? or not yet?
His derby hat on. You throw
Oh,
right
the
in
Derby.
bus.
No, you know what? I don't even look. It's a bad memory. The one my son broke his leg when he was like 18 months old, and we were watching the Derby in a friend's backyard. I always have traumatic memories of the Derby with my wife losing her mind when the kid did not want to stop crying up for some M&Ms. We knew something was wrong.
You know what the good thing about wearing a hat for you, Kenny, is? You don't have to worry about your hair.
That's right. That's the best part about having no hair. No more hat head.
Okay.
Yeah.
We got a few minutes here. We got earnings. We got take two. But first, let's go faux show, bro. And tell us what you've been trading real quickly, and then or should we talk overall markets first?
Let's talk about the last time we met. The world was coming to an end, and it actually got worse. We were talking about levels where the Qs could, where the levels where the Qs could fall to, and I said how it's all pre-programmed, and they'll have some news event to wash everybody out, and then we'll bounce and we'll rip back to where we were. Voila!
Holy mackerel. We say nobody has a crystal ball, but Kenny does.
Right.
Where do you hide that crystal ball?
And the crazy thing is, it really just all panned out just like that. And it was just like, was the tail wagging the dog and all that. But listen, as a shorter, it's always short-lived. And when they started talking about just put it in perspective. I was talking about shorting the UVXY and the VIX while it was flying off the radar. And one guy said, so here you are, you're going to predict when to start shorting the VIX in the first unprecedented moment in 50 years, the first black swan event that this market's seen in 50 years. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I will. Because
Yes,
inevitably UVXY will be back under $30 and I'll be there. And watch what happens. And there it was. Voila. Another unprecedented event. And I guess it was the president literally trying to crash the market. But when they started giggling on TV, hey, there's my friend Charles Schwab. He's up 900 million. What are you up today? 1.2 billion? Okay. I'm like, I'm in with these guys. So I bought that dip too. So I'm still long and strong right now. The Qs, Amazon, Tesla, Palantir. I am not falling for these tricks anymore. I've been around for 30 years now. No more.
Are we going back to all-time highs?
You know what? If we stay green today, you got to start factoring that in. That's what's crazy about this market. But right now, we broke through resistance. We broke through the Trump candle, the April 9th candle. That's the new support. So I'm talking the Qs, 443 area. Then we got through the 463. If we stay above 463 for a week or two, and now that we're past Apple and Amazon, where are we going? Where are we going from here? So it's incredible. Reddit's back. If Reddit can catch it, stay strong today. Carvana's back to 250. So listen, I'm not going to get in the way of the market, but the easy money is made. The easy money was made these last 2 weeks. So now we're going to have a little battle between 466 and that 487.50 today. We get through the Qs of 487.50. We're back to the January low where we broke down from. And if we get in there, we'll start talking about all-time highs. It's incredible. It really is.
And just the tenor of the market too. I mean, it just like the headlines, and the movement, and then the reactions, intraday, overnight.
Oh yeah.
It's for your long. If you think about it, you look at like your long term stuff. You're like, hey, things aren't too bad. But it's 8:19. We've got a jobs number today. We got a couple things to cover. You just must have so many stocks to look at today. With all the earnings, with all the news, we got a jobs number. What are you going to pick on today?
Oh, I'm all about the Qs, Apple and Amazon. This is our holiday. So earnings season, we just go right specifically to the earnings reports. And if anybody wants to see something good, we finally have an algo to backtest the trade I've been doing since 2012, the faux show bro VWAP break. It's around at 78% over like 12 years that this trade replicates and works for profitable trades. So again, if you want to see what it is, it's Amazon. We're long Amazon right now. And again, when a market doesn't want to go down, any gap down on earnings, we're looking to buy. So, we're already in Amazon, already in the Qs, and it's basically nothing's really changed. The candles got bigger. I've never seen anything like that April 9th move, which was insane. But again, it's really relatively the same day over and over again for us. We're just looking for that same setup. But now, earnings season, a little added volatility. It's gotten better. So I'm sticking with the big guys today.
Okay. Apple, Mike, as Apple, Amazon. So if I'm reading your mind correctly here at Apple,
Yeah, baby.
okay, let's just walk through the setup. I know you're not shorting it down $8, right?
You know it.
S- So you're looking, and like people love Apple, right? So walk us through like a possible setup here. I know there's a lot that could happen between now and the open, but talk to us about a possible setup.
Yeah, I'll tell you exactly what we're doing. We're looking for the dip and rip, or basically the faux show bro. So aftermarket lows yesterday was around 204. So now the stock's below VWAP. We're looking for it to test yesterday's lows. If it tests yesterday's lows and holds, we're a buyer. So, but if it breaks yesterday's lows, we're looking for that 202.50. So option expiration. If you guys remember back in the day when you didn't have contracts all over the place, 205, 202.50 get you 200. Breaks that 204 area, you're looking for that 202.50. But this market has been just shaking you out, faking you out, and then we break back above the VWAP. So I'm looking for them to wash the market out, just like Apple. Amazon and Apple kind of breaking away from each other right now. But if Apple comes along for the ride and Amazon is, already strong, I'm going to be right back on the cues. But Apple, exactly where I want it right now. I want to see it come in a little bit more in the pre-market, wash them out, and then we'll see what happens at the end of the day. If this
At what
above,
point, Kenny,
yeah,
and it's obviously buying the dip, and it's worked so well. I mean, I've argued on this show for the last 10 years we've done the show that buy the dip is probably the best strategy that has ever existed in the markets, because the markets will continue to go higher. You're buying the dip, you blindly make money, it seems like, in the long run.
Yeah.
But how do you time those dips? Like when you're coming in on something like Apple and it's down, how do you not get, run over? Like, talk about the timing of those trades. What do you do?
Well, I'm basically waiting it out. Again, if you're trading pre-market, you're not long right now. You're kind of waiting to see if it holds the support. But really, it's just about the risk reward. Every trade that we put on is the same trade. So if you're getting that washout at the open, and then it makes that turn, and if it breaks VWAP, you're in, and then you're just using those bottoms of those washout candles are your outs. So even if it doesn't work, if it gets rejected at VWAP and rolls over, it's minimum loss. So every trade that we put on is minimum loss for maximum gains. So small loss for medium and large gains. Even if you get a couple wrong, you're going to come out ahead. So that's why, even those volatility, nothing's changed for the way that we trade in the room. It's the same day every day, just the candles are getting bigger. So when I come in and I know that Apple's going to be active, there's no way it's going to be sitting around. And, even though Microsoft kind of sat around all day, there was 5 opportunities to get a short off just on the VWAP not getting, violated from the upside. So it got rejected. You got short at VWAP, using VWAP as your out, and then it rolled over, and you make those 2 or 3 points. And again, we're just lowly day traders. I just want a couple of points and start playing pickleball and go home, and just get the hell out of here.
Pickleball's dangerous, man. Pickleball is dangerous. Okay, one more for you, and I think this is a little bit more difficult of a setup. I don't know. Take two.
Ooh, take two. I'm a fan, but right now you already had that monster move down. So
Okay.
I'll be looking for the stock to go back to that 207.50 area. You got some big candles, but once again, if they wash it out back under that 205, between 205, 202.50, then I'm just looking for VWAP breaks. If this stock's above 214 today, I'm probably going to be long. I like it.
So what's your number? What's your number on take two?
Right now, if it's above 215, I'll probably be in the stock long, because again, look at this. This is a monstrous move, and again, $200 stock for us. Again, you get your stuff, you get in about 210 or 212.50. You get your 2.5 or 5 points out of it. That's all we do. You guys want to see something crazy? Here's one for you. The kids, KIDZ.
Oh, I saw this.
Yeah,
I was hitting my filters. It was lighting up yesterday like a Christmas tree. All green.
Oh boy, here we go.
Just lighting up. I was like, "There's kids again. There's kids again." Because I have a filter. When a stock's making a new high on the day, it shows up. And it's like, bang, make a new high. Like 20 minutes later, bang, make a new high. Then 10 minutes later, bang, make a new high. The kids in the hall, man, holy, they were really rocking.
Yeah, the filter should be these stocks will eventually go to zero. Anything that's up, anything that does this. But you know what? I held it overnight because we were doing well with it. Just sold out of it. If this thing comes back, and I'm surprised it got over 10 even, pre-market. But if this thing gets over 10, it's never been higher than 10. I don't know what it is, but there's always one or two of these every day. Yesterday was Z-Car came back out of the dead. They have these reverse splits and they just go nuts. But for the day trader, there's 3 or 4 of these every day. And I just wanted to point out the kids one today because it's never been above 10. And it looks like it was some weird SPAC maybe. So above 10, this thing could really, really rip. So, and again,
what
now
the hell is it? Class
Who
over?
cares?
No idea.
No idea. I don't even. I was watching, but none of us know what it is.
Exactly. That's the best thing about it. All I know is I booked a restaurant for next week as Johnny Classover. And when I saw this, Johnny Classover. Yeah. Table of 4. That's where I'm going with this. It's my new. It's my new.
You wear the hat. You wear that
Johnny
hat too. You got to wear that hat when you go to that restaurant.
Absolutely. Johnny Classover. Yes. Party of 4. Thank you. Thank you very much. We'll take the oysters. We'll take the halibut and the oysters. So what's up? I don't know, man. By the way, the reason I'm wearing the suit and I was going to wear a tuxedo. You had a guy in here. It's like, can we really trust this guy, a 50-year-old guy who wears a hooded sweatshirt on the show? This is for you, buddy. I can always change my clothes. You can't change your face. So have a great day.
Hey, Kenny.
One guy was very hypocritical. He didn't like my Bulldog sweatshirt.
We've never had you on for a jobs number, but if you got to hop, I know you're a busy man in the morning.
The
we
jobs
got
report. Yeah. Let's sit through it, and if we get a dip, we'll just buy the dip because this market it's
gonna rip.
Blindly buy the dip, win money.
Yep.
Okay.
What do you think? What do you think the reaction will be? I'll say knee-jerk reaction down, and then we just ignore it because bull market's back, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. Bull market is back. Like I said last week, I think the low for the year is in. I think it is.
Probably.
And again, those are bold calls because anything can happen. We don't know. Maybe China goes and attacks Taiwan, then all bets would be off. But I mean, at this point in time, with the information we're currently given and the way the tape is town. Every dip just keeps getting bought.
Yeah.
So I mean, the bulls are just back in town.
I think, as I'm reading into you, I think you think we won't get to all-time highs, but the lows are in. I'm right there with you.
Kenny, listen, I am gonna totally guarantee that we're gonna make new all-time highs because I'm gonna say that we're not gonna make new all-time highs, and people in the chat are gonna write that down. And
they do write down when we're wrong.
I think everyone should go all in on the market, making a new all-time high because I said we're not going to make an all-time high.
They do write down when we're wrong. I will say that. If you're wrong, if you're running a podcast,
how do we have a podcast for all these years when we're so goddamn wrong all the time? We're so wrong.
Kenny knows this.
I never write about anything. I don't know,
we're not right about anything. We're never right. We make money, we pay our bills, we go to nice restaurants, but we're never right in the market, even though we don't have jobs.
I was wrong about those Knicks.
All right,
that was impressive.
This is the way we do it, Kenny. Brett's going to give us a preview.
All right, let's go.
Brett, that's your cue to give us a preview.
All right, so we're looking for this is the April report. We're looking for non-farm payrolls. We're looking for non-farm payrolls of 138. We're looking for private sector payrolls of 124,000. We're looking for an unemployment rate unchanged at 4.2%. Report coming in just a few seconds here. We are standing by, folks.
Stand by. John.
Okay, 30 seconds. Kenny, just for you.
The dip gets bought.
Just for you, I go to a 1 minute. I go to the 1 minute. It usually gives me the heebie-jeebies, but for you, and I don't have a VWAP. I think TradeStation does. I wish I had the 1 minute VWAP, and I'd be clicking buy, sell, faux, show, go.
I remember these moments where I actually cared about economic data releases.
Yeah, when was that?
No dip. No dip.
Jobs report better than expected. Non-farm payrolls, 177,000. versus 138,000. Private sector payrolls 167,000 versus 124,000 expectation. Unemployment rate is unchanged at 4.2%. That was right in line. Futures are rallying, folks.
There's no dip. They totally pulled the
We
rug
can't even
out
get
from
a
us.
dip.
We didn't even
Yeah.
get a dip. Just straight up. We wanted to get the dip to buy, but they don't even give us a dip anymore here, Kenny. That's how much the Bulls are in control. Now we don't even get the dip.
It's exactly right. Exactly right.
You want to buy a dip? Why don't you buy the dip in TLT, Dennis?
Is
I think we'll get
TLT
a
dipping?
chance. We'll get a chance.
Probably should be bought. Probably should be bought.
Okay, but doesn't this mean they're not going to lower interest rates?
They're going to
Nothing
raise
matters
interest rates.
anymore anyway.
Raising
They may
interest rates.
never.
Nobody cares. Nobody cares
Nobody
about interest rates.
Me and Kenny are so in tune here this morning.
Here we go.
We rip higher. Everything is ripping higher. Banks, tech stocks ripping higher. Forget about Amazon report last night. Those losses are all gone. The dip is now green. Amazon to the green. Apple's the only thing that's still red, so it's trying to hold red. But everything else is green. It's green across the board. Staples, utilities up too. Cats and dogs living in peace and harmony together. Everything is up.
What about
amen, retire.
Right.
What about the IBB?
IBD's wondering about my babies.
Seriously, I've got 200 stocks on my screen, and the only stocks that are red right now, I've got Apple and Chevron and EOG.
And the stock that I own, Sports Radar. By the way, I own a stock and I like it for the company. Help me.
What is it?
Sports Radar. I'm trying to get
SRAD.
Yes.
No, I'm wrong.
Trying to get my kid a job there. That's where you graduate in college in 10 days. So it's crazy.
Sports Radar.
Yeah, that's where he went. Gambling and data analytics. Yeah, I own the stock. So take a look at it. Actually did very well in this environment. So hopefully when market comes roaring back, this thing looks like it's going to $50.
What's the symbol?
SRAD.
SRAD. Dennis
so
knows it,
rad.
of course.
Yeah.
So rad.
I mean, that doesn't look. I mean, Kennis. I mean, IPO, pretty new. I mean, this doesn't look too bad, even to me.
There you go. It's actually an interesting company.
Okay, Kenny. That was a blast.
Yeah,
who needs economists? Who needs analysts? Who needs anything? We got Kenny Glick on the water.
It's true.
For pre-market prep today. Okay, man. We love you, Kenny.
Good luck today, guys. It's going to be a great day as always. Have a good weekend.
Kenny.
I'll see you. Good luck.
Wow. So don't worry about earnings. Apple down, Amazon down, half the stocks reporting XYZ just destroyed. Doesn't matter. Because we just have talks. Talking about talking is good enough. Let's talk about talking. That's what we really did. Talked about talking.
Okay. Since you mentioned XYZ, let's resume with our regularly scheduled programming here. XYZ, Dennis, you were talking about this one in the STN room because we were talking about buying the bounce in Amazon, and you kept on saying, "Man, this is not the kind of bounce I want to buy. This is not the kind of bounce, this is like bad." And it is beyond bad here. What did they do? They were supposed to make. No, this can't be right.
Yeah,
they got to hire the accounting firm from SMCI. They were supposed to make.
I know. If they hired the accounting from SMCI, they'd be fine. They didn't. Yeah, 56 versus 87, 5.77 billion versus 6.2 billion. That's a miss on the top. That's a miss on the bottom. Guidance was light. Brentster was covering the guidance here. He was digging down for us. I don't have it in front of me here, but it wasn't good either. So there are two kind of dips. Those
education
dips,
time.
Again, two kinds of dips. They all look the same on the charts, but they aren't all the same. The first kind of dip is a stock reporting earnings because the bar, and then going down in the earnings report because the bar is too high. So when they're dipping on the bar is too high, that's a better earnings dip to buy than the stock that's lowering guidance and missing on top, missing on the bottom, lowering guidance. So the ones that miss on the top, miss on the bottom, lower guidance, I don't buy those dips. So it was like last night, people were asking me, are you buying XYZ? It's 50, 49, 48. I was like, no. I'm like, I don't like buying the dips where they're lowering guidance. I like buying the dips where the bar was high and, it's still a pretty good report. So it's dipping, but the company's still doing pretty well. XYZ, not doing that great. XYZ, taking out new lows, making new lows on the year, making not even new lows on the year, new lows in 2 years. There's a 2-year low here, folks. So I don't like when I always say stocks making new lows, you got to go. XYZ is not the stock that I'm looking to buy the dip on, even though they seem to be buying all dips right now.
Yeah, it would be a 2-year low in November. Back in November, 39.94 was your low, November 30th of 2023. This one, just keep your eye on the pre-market low, 43.88. Maybe you get a flush through that, take out the 43s, take out the 42s, take out the 41s, iceberg at 40. And then if it comes back up through the open, maybe if you could sit on it 15 minutes, I don't know. I mean, the shorts are just loving it. But remember when these stocks were going up and it was all because of Bitcoin? Boy, did that relationship ever just disappear.
Yeah, PayPal and Square were popping. They were Bitcoin stocks all of a sudden because they might allow you to transact in Bitcoin. That was a reach, folks. That was a reach. These were not Bitcoin stocks. These were payment stocks. The payment space is just epically full of competition. And I mean epically. Competition everywhere here now. So many companies in that space. That's what they're feeling. These companies all went from gross stock multiples, trading 40, 50 times earnings, into a lot of these companies are now trading under market multiples. So they've become value stocks because, heck, a lot of these companies are still making money. But the growth story is dead. PayPal's 13 times forward earnings now. Used to trade like 50 times. So you can just see, when the growth slows, that multiple just contracts, and it contracts very quickly. XYZ, same thing, although 13 times forward earnings, but now you have to adjust because the earnings are getting crappier and going down. So that's the issue that XYZ is having here too. Payment space, the growth story is just dead.
Okay. All right. So, wow. Where should we go? Oh, yeah. I'll just give you yesterday's high. That's it. And that's 82.5. That's Thursday's high. That's been the rebound high. Let's go. Let's stay on the good since we're all giddy in a good mood. The market's up. We don't have to worry about a recession.
Sure.
Let's go to at least for a month, right? China's playing nice. I mean, who knows what else could happen? What could go wrong in this market? Reddit shares are trading higher. Nice beat, 13 cents versus 2 cents. Slight beat on the sales, 392 versus 370. A little upward guidance here. So there you go. Ad revenue up. Taking that ad revenue from Snapchat. But and this is another thing you can mark me as being wrong on. I think the high of the day is in.
You think the high of the day is in Reddit? Yeah, because Reddit really gave all of it back. This stock hissed up to like 143 last night, just way overshoot. So not only is buy the dip working exceptionally well, but when these stocks get to silly town, sell the rip is still working here too, folks. So don't count out those sell the rippers. The what strategy that is not working is sell the dip and buy the rip. That is working epically bad. So, we've called this all year. My acronym for the year was fade. We continue to fade. Reddit faders rewarded last night. Stock was 143, is now down here to 122. Amazon faders rewarded last night. Stock kissed 180 twice. Mad that I didn't get filled in my second order because it was so close, and now is green. So fade trade, both directions, continues to work. Don't argue with the fade traders. They're printing money.
Okay, people, just real quick, people keep asking about the Derby, and actually my generator's off, so my power came back.
You have
but
Generac too?
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, me and
yeah.
Joel, long Generac.
So barring any major electrical problems, at noon today, I'm going to do a Derby special. Not writing
Ooh,
an article
wow.
this year. And I'm just gonna, just gonna give you, the way I approach it. It's kind of like the way Triple D trades the markets, and I'm going for good risk reward. Doing that at noon. So no Derby talk until noon. So I hope to see all you. It's free, so I'm sure everyone can afford it. Okay. What do we want to do after Reddit?
All right. There's a million stocks that reported here last night. There's quite a few that reported here this morning. We haven't covered the oil majors, and I think we should. And we'll come back to tech stocks here because we have about 20 minutes. If you have a ticker, let us know here in the chat. We'll try to cover it here too. But we do have the oil stocks reporting, Exxon and Chevron. Let's do them both together here because both these stocks are just linked at the hip anyways. It seems like when they deviate, they just come right back in anyway. So I'm going to do Exxon first. XOM reported earnings $1.76 versus $1.70. Missed on sales, 83.13 billion versus 86 billion. Man, the sales are just incredible, these companies. It is up $1. Then let's do Chevron. It's going the opposite way. Its report was they look identical, $2.18, both in line. Sales, slight miss. So basically, revenue, the earnings were fine at both. Slight miss on revenue at both, but one goes up, one goes down. I mean, Chevron's sitting here near a 52-week low here, Joel. Like, not getting off the mat, but I mean, value 5.1% dividend here. Is there a place for Chevron in Joel Elconin's long-term portfolio?
I mean, we talked about it with Shad Markowitz in the STN room yesterday,
Yeah.
and he said, are you going to get rich owning these stocks? No. If you're prudent in buying it and you're collecting the dividend, then maybe. But man, oil's. Pretty soon we're gonna have, driverless electrical cars. I mean, we're not gonna need oil anymore. So no, I'm not looking to put this in my portfolio. Dennis, I want to ask you, the bright traders. This seems like a really tricky pair to trade because there's just a lot of divergences in it. Was this a
Well,
uh,
Chevron
uh
Exxon was always a key pairs trade, but classic pairs trading has been tough. Like, it's still there. Like, just thinking, oh yeah, I'm going to buy Chevron today and short Exxon because one's down 2 and one's up 1. It's been tough. It's been a tough pairs environment for a very long time. Now, there still is relationships there to respect, but I think the relationships is more in the sympathy peer moves as opposed to like buying one and shorting the other, and just saying that the relationship will come back in. Now, again, Exxon and Chevron very strongly related to each other. Even when you look, at the two charts, still kind of look the same. I mean, Exxon had the big sell-off in April, hasn't really rallied that much. Chevron had the big sell-off in April, hasn't really rallied that much. So kind of the same. So, I mean, short one, buying the other today, could they come back in? They could. It's just not as simple as it used to be.
You know what? I think overall, I think Exxon's held up a hell of a lot better,
It's
and
always been best of breed. I think
it's always
Exxon's always
been.
been best of breed. In my
You know,
opinion, yes. It's been Chevron
it,
and Exxon. Like, you look at the XLE, and people trade the XLE, and they're like, oh, I get this whole diversified portfolio of oil stocks with the XLE. Well, do you? Because you want to know what the XLE components are? The top two. XLE is 24% Exxon and 15% Chevron. So those two components, there's 24 stocks in there, but the top two are 40%. And if you go down to the third one, ConocoPhillips is 7.7. Basically, half that ETF is those three stocks.
I will just let's just go to the CVX, and it bounced off its pre-market low, and that was in the 132 handle, 132.68 to be exact. Low of the move, 132.04. So I mean, we'll see what happens. I mean, if we're playing this from the short side, between 132 and 133, let's see if you find buyers in that area. Of course, resistance at the bottom of yesterday's range, which you could very easily hit at 135.12, and then also scratch on today. ExxonMobil, it's really well defined for resistance. And I would say if you're a long-term holder or you're looking for some momentum, look at all these highs. I'm just going to ballpark at 109. You had several highs, so someone's stock in there. So if it gets above 109, then you get back into that area, price action between that and 120. But keeping an eye right now, 109. I'll make that a 5-star level for Exxon Mobil. So
Back
we talk.
away from the oil trade and back into the tech trade because it's more fun to talk about here. Let's go Twilio first. TWLO, give you the good news and the bad news. Good news is Twilio, the bad news is going to be Roku. But Twilio, trade up $8. The earnings were excellent. Twilio's kind of been in the gutter too. So again, that low bar, high bar thing works. I mean, yeah, it's up from 80, but it was $140 back in February. So I'm going to say it was still kind of in the gutter going into this report. Comes out with earnings. $1.14 versus 94, 1.17 billion versus 1.14 billion. That's a beat on the top. That's a beat on the bottom. The guidance wasn't even that great. Guidance 99 cents to 104 versus 104 estimates. That's kind of like on the lower end. But you know what? Low bar wins again. Twilio gets 9% pop here. Mr. Elconin, give me some levels on TWLO.
I just like the confluence between the pre-market high and this daily high here. We've already hit it. So 109. You did spike to 110. So if I was wanting to sell this stock today, I'd say, hey, can we rally another $2? And then I'd be careful between 109 and 110. Coming back on the downside, unless the market completely falls apart. 99.42 was the top of yesterday's range. So, but man, if you look at this thing, Dennis, the all-time high in this was $457.30.
So far off the all-time highs. And that was back during the 2020 bubble days of bubbleliciousness, and valuation didn't matter anymore. And with growth at any cost, and Kathy Wood was running around, and prancing and dancing and having so much fun back then. And then reality set in. And it's like, oh my gosh, no, valuation does matter. And that's obviously the correction of 2021 and 2022. So we're back into like reasonableness with Twilio, though. You start talking about a stock, it's not really trading, if we go to the multiple here, just to give it to you, not trading 80 times earnings anymore. It's actually trading Twilio, grabbing that multiple, 22 times earnings. So growth at a reasonable price. I'd say it's fairly reasonable. Roku. Oh, this has been the dog of all dogs. I've called them TiVo Part 2. Called them that for a while. I'm not going to stop calling them TiVo Part 2 because I've been correct on it. There's been moments in time where I've traded Roku from the long side, but I tell you, this is looking more and more like it could be TiVo Part 2. It is not far from 5-year lows. Actually, no, it is $38. It really got down there, but it's not far from the yearly low, which is down to 52, and it's even off that. But I don't know. This ain't the kind of stock I want to own, Roku. I know they make some money. We'll give you those earnings here right now. Stock is obviously trading down on it, but I'm bringing up the earnings report here for you. They lost money, lost 19 cents versus 26. Sales were light. Or no, sales were okay. 1.02 billion versus 1.01 billion. Guidance was fine. They don't like that bottom line miss. Is there hopes for this company to start to get back into the profitability area here because they're not making money right now? I don't know. But all I know is there's a lot of competition for, that kind of a product that built in all into the TVs now. Obviously, Roku's in the TVs as well, but this just is not the stock for me.
If you've been waiting for a gap fill from April 22nd, you're about to get it or pretty darn close. 60.91 was the high on April 22nd. You gapped up to 62.14. So, if you've been shorting this or waiting to pull along and looking for the gap fill, here's the area. I'm just not going to try and straight out, pick a bottom, but I would look at that bar from that previous day, and you had a range between 58.87 and 60.91. So if this thing is to have any hope today, and maybe not, today or moving forward, put a few lows in this area. Make someone step up at 60. See that there's some buyers. But right now, that is a look at Roku ROKU. Dennis, you were playing this one for the earnings pop earlier in the week. And,
Yeah.
not earnings pop. Yeah.
No,
And
no,
you
the
did it.
pre-earnings run. Pre-earnings
Yes.
run.
I'm sorry. Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
and I typically still do that strategy where I buy stocks, and it seems like every single night that are reporting, coming up, saying there's a positive, expectation of companies. One, it works for two reasons. One, people get excited about these stocks, talk about them on social media. Oh, it's going to report next week. I'm excited about that. I want to buy that. Two is if you short the things, you don't usually like to take them through earnings. So that's why we often see stocks lift a couple days prior to the earnings. They have these pre-earnings run-ups there. I've traded that strategy for 15 years with a lot of success. It's one of my core strategies, and it works very, very well.
You did cool on it a little bit though. Like when things got, look at Amazon.
I
up
did. Yeah,
Yeah.
no, I did.
Talk
I
about
cooled
that.
off on it when things got hairy because your core strategy playbook doesn't work when the VIX is 50. You got to go just basically to straight up statistical arbitrage at that point in time. Everything starts moving together. Don't worry about individual news. Don't worry about upgrades and downgrades. Just worry about what's happening with the overall market. So when the VIX is at 50, I cool off. My whole playbook of like strategies when the VIX is 16 doesn't work. So you don't play that playbook. But you know what? As Kenny says, the VIX will come back down. And it did. And now that playbook is starting to work again. So it's all about having different types of playbook. Man, we are ripping. They love the jobs. They love that we're talking with China. They love everything right now. The Bulls are back in town. The Bulls are back in town.
Also just going back to strategy, changes. Last night, when you were in the STN room, there was some imbalances. Yeah, you were looking at it. Yeah, there was some earnings, but there was just too much going on after the close. Like you didn't want to have to worry about flipping out of something. You wanted to focus on the price action. You wanted to focus on the earnings. You wanted to focus on the ETF effects. And turned out that there was plenty of action. Should we talk about like a boring stock? And the only reason I want to bring it up is because of the tariffs and the autos and MGA.
Okay.
Magna International reported. Now, Magna, is owned by Frank Stronach, and Frank Stronach also owns Churchill Downs,
Oh.
where the Derby is. So, they missed. They were supposed to make 78. They lost 90. Mixed report, beat on sales, guidance, not the guidance you want to see. Well,
Not
no,
bad, actually. The
they
guidance is
bumped
kind
the
of up.
guidance.
Yeah,
Okay.
they bumped the guidance up a little bit, which you'd think would be really good. But you know what? This is an auto parts maker, and they hate autos right now. I mean, GM comes out, reaffirms guidance. So actually, they lowered guidance a little bit, but in the report, they're right there. Earnings were fine. That stock just cannot rally. Magna, that is like the one sector. There's certain sectors that are just hated. Healthcare, drugs, like the mega cap drugs like Merck and Pfizer, Bristol Myers, hated. GM, hated. The classic value stocks have been hated for quite a while here now. Magna, classic value stock as well. I mean, the stock trades with P. Let's just go grab it here. P on Magna is 7. They
Dennis,
hate
did you
stocks.
take?
They hate
Did you
stocks that make too much money. They're back to that again.
did you take
They make
the
too much money.
Did you take the overnight trade I gave you? Not for investment advice.
What did you give me? Talk to me.
Churchill Downs.
No, that's for tonight. So Churchill Downs is trading up here. CHDN. So Derby plays. You're going to give Derby picks at noon to everyone. We'll tweet out your link. But Derby plays. Churchill Downs. CHDN. Is there a better Derby play than Churchill Downs? CHDN. Is there? I'm waiting. I would say no.
I don't know. I mean, people try and beer. The concessions.
Don't overthink it. Don't overthink
Yeah,
it. The answer is yes.
I agree.
There's none. Churchill Downs, home of the Kentucky Derby. They were talking a lot about the Kentucky Derby this weekend. Churchill Downs, home of the Kentucky Derby. CHDN, I will be buying at the close here today because I think people talk about it. Might get a lift. I might do DKNG with the 2 because often you do see on these, major sporting events, you see people getting excited about betting a little bit. I have DKNG in my long-term portfolio. I bought a bunch of stocks back there when Plasma said I was bearish at the bottom, although I bought a whole pile of stocks back there. showing you that I wasn't bearish at all, but that is what it is. DKNG up 1.59% here this morning as well. I like both those stocks going into the weekend just because of the excitement around the Kentucky Derby.
Okay. Do you want to talk about? We got a few minutes left here. Do we want to? Is there any earnings, Dennis, that you think?
Well, there's a million earnings we could talk about. We also need to talk Berk.B because coming into this weekend, we obviously have Berkshire Hathaway reporting, annual meeting, all the excitement out there. One day, me and the Brentster, and maybe you too, Joel, going to go out there, shake hands with Warren, get out down and dirty in that annual meeting. But I got to tell you, this has been the most resilient stock, if you want to call it a stock, because obviously it's a closed-end fund, but this has been the most resilient one of them all. It is within $1, $2 of all-time highs. They own a pile of Apple. They own a pile of other stocks that have been going down, but it doesn't matter because they have 35% cash, so that just keeps the stock at all-time highs. This has been probably my best stock this year. I should go luck of trading because I've just been buying this thing on the close a lot of nights and flipping it out because it seems like it's up every morning. Here it is again, trading higher. People are excited. You're getting close to this Berk meeting. I mean, wow. Warren Buffett, is still the GOAT.
How about if that has a nice juicy buy-in balance today of $7?
Well, it does. We can tell you already. It has a 23,000 share buy-in. But do I want to sell it? So normally I would short Berk on a day where tech is ripping higher, and tech is ripping higher here except for Apple. Normally I would short Berk at the open, and I do this. I do these trades. I don't know today because it reports like on the weekend, and people are gonna be excited about it all day. So I don't like being short stocks ahead of reports, and that's what this would be doing. So I probably don't do the short. I probably do the long at the close, despite this thing at all-time highs. I probably do, and try to flip it out after hours because people will be excited about it again. Yeah, Berk.B, monstrous.
Yeah,
I wish EKS. I wish it was in my long-term portfolio. I've now put Berk.B. You want to know why Berk.B? Joel knows why it's not in my long-term portfolio. You know why? You know why? Because I don't know what happens when he dies.
I know.
I'm like, there's a huge premium to NAV in here. And I'm like, I don't know what happens. Like, does it fall 10% the day he dies or more? Maybe. I'm not saying. I hope Warren Buffett lives forever. I love Warren Buffett. Keep drinking your 6 Cokes a day. You've gone this far with it. Don't stop doing anything you're doing. But he is 94 years old. So I'm like, the over-under, is he making 100? I don't know. Is he making 99? I don't know. You know what the life expectancy of a 94-year-old is? I think it's 2 years. That's kind of shitty. I'm sorry for the 94-year-old people out there, but it's not long. Now, again, Warren Buffett defies all logic and gravity, so maybe he's going to live to be 200. Awesome. Love Warren Buffett.
No,
but I always get scared even when I'm long, and I was like, I hope we don't get sick this weekend. I hope we don't get, when I'm buying.
I know. I know. The other day, and I turned on the TV and I saw a stock down 150, and it had a long name, and I just looked. I'm like, and it turned out to be bookings. It wasn't. It was. I'm like, oh my gosh, I had a heart attack. For you, Dennis. You thought
it was Berk down. You're like, what happened to Buffett? Dennis is long a whole pile of Berk, and that was bucking. I was like, ooh, phew. I know. Okay, I do think about that. But you know what? I love Warren Buffett. Please, Warren Buffett, live forever. I've made so much money off Berkshire Hathaway over the years just trading it. Please, please, please live forever. Do whatever you're doing. Continue to do it. You're awesome. We love you, Warren Buffett.
I think she's a new person, or he or she, we don't know with the anonymous chat, but I think it's Annie Hilio asked about the hood, and interesting day yesterday. Boy, is that 50 a pesky level? Yeah, you got the 5130 yesterday.
Pesky level. You say this all the time. You have these words and these I love the word pesky level. What is a pesky level? Because if I went and bought a technical analysis book, and I'm not going to, but if I did, I don't know if I would see pesky level in there. What is a pesky level?
A pesky level is a level you buy on the breakout and you get smoked. You buy.
That's a pesky level.
Okay.
That's pretty pesky. I'll give him
yeah. Oh boy. Well, here it didn't quite.
Methods here.
It didn't quite get there. Boom. Oh, we are free now. Hallelujah. We closed over. We went over 50. We went to 51. Hallelujah. Boom. You go over 50 again on earnings. You go a little bit over 51. Boom. That's a pesky level, Dennis. Is that a good enough definition of a pesky level?
I love it. I love it. I love Joel Elconin's, tactical analysis because he has his own unique way. And I have followed the Joel Elconin tactical analysis methods forever. If you were to book Joel, I'd be the first person to buy it.
All you
Final
have to
thought.
do is all you have to do is the opposite of what I say, and you will be so wildly profitable from it. That's why you like it so much. You just do the opposite. Okay, final thoughts for today.
You go first.
Okay. I mean, we're taking out last week's high, right? Or we're taking out the high from Thursday. I don't have much on the dailies here. I'm not gonna try and short it. I mean, the next daily high, it's way up there at 57.73. So we're coming in an area of very limited resistance. I will be focusing on yesterday's high at 56.8250. If in fact that falls by the wayside, well, maybe a little bit of downside. That's the only number I got for you. Thursday's high.
My final thoughts are we're still in the fade trade market. I'm not buying up. We just rallied 90 handles here on a jobs and talking about talking. So I know we're getting up above yesterday's high. I know it looks great, from a technical basis, but I still think it's tougher sledding up here. And I'm with Kenny. I think the lows for the year are in. I still think the highs of the year could be in. I think we could be range bound for a very long time, folks. And when you're in range bound trading, yes, sell the rip and buy that dip, and then you don't worry about anything else. So if you were buying a whole bunch of stocks yesterday, I'd sell right into the strength. That's just me.
So I know you hate quizzes, but this is a very easy one for you, Dennis. I think they celebrated in Canada. Do you know what Monday is?
I know what Sunday is. Do you know what Sunday is?
The day
May
that
the 4th be with you. Star Wars Day. Star Wars Day.
Also, May 4th.
I don't know what Monday is. I have no idea.
1984.
Cinco de Mayo
is when I met Lisa in May 4th, 1984.
Oh, nice.
Okay. Yeah, it's Cinco de Mayo. So what are the stocks to trade for that, Dennis?
I have no idea. I've never traded. I've never put on the Cinco de Mayo trade. Give them to me. I'll write it down.
I don't have them. I don't know. What's the Spanish?
Okay, that's your job, pre-market prep. STN room. Both of you guys. We're monitoring 2 chat rooms here. Give us Cinco de Mayo trades. Let's go.
Okay. All right, man. Fun show today. Sorry about the technical difficulties. My generator. Oh, CMG maybe. And tequila stocks. So, all right, that's it for today. Another fun week on pre-market prep. I will be full gear next week. Thanks for joining us.